Lyndon is here. He's in the house. LinkedIn is up and it's live. Good night, folks. Hit it.
LinkedIn Love with Lyndon and Jared.
Thank you so much. Laters. Remember, don't lean on the table.
Hi, Lyndon.
Hello,
Yes.
Zoe.
Good night, folks. Back from a little hiatus. You know, we had to rest. We had to rest. It was important. You know, and some good timing. So, how are things in you and my friend?
Things are cool, my friend. No complaints at all.
Lovely.
Admin Wiz, good night.
Yes. Thank
Who
you,
else
Admin
is there?
Wiz.
Yeah.
That's all me. I don't kind of parents who's want to give credit to the mother. That's
Yeah.
me. That's all me right there. That's me. If I was a drag queen baby, that's exactly what I would look like. That's me. None to the mother. That's me. Right?
Yeah. Edwan Coach. Edwan Coach. I'll say it like that.
Edon. No, Edon.
Edon.
I think his
Edon?
abbreviation is Edon.
Oh,
Hopefully.
right. Okay. Edon Coach. Right.
Right. So, Lyndon, I bought this topic too, and it's all based on I had a discussion with a really good friend of mine yesterday. So she influences, so shout out to you. And I realize there's a lot of problems that entrepreneurs are facing right now, which is super, super important. So we in this last quarter, Lyndon, you and I both know it's a quarter huge and filled with opportunities. It's not a quarter to take lightly. It's something to take serious. And one of the things that I keep seeing entrepreneurs do is waste time with people who not going and buy. So
Right.
tonight, folks, is all about 5 signs to tell that the person isn't going to buy from you. Right? I have these things written down. And first thing I want to talk about is your mindset. Too many people trying to sell to everybody and they're running on customers and looking desperate. Right? When you start doing that, you waste most of your time chasing people who would never buy.
Yes.
And let us know, give us some hearts, give us some light bulbs if you're watching us on LinkedIn right now. But let us know, are you wasting time right now? Or do you feel like you're wasting time with people who seem like you're not making a decision? Because we would be giving you some of the tips. But I would give it to you, Linda. Let me hear your first tip that you could tell somebody isn't going to buy.
Right. So I have a couple of them. Let me give it to you from my one particular. They are always asking for some sort of clarification, right? So
Ooh.
they always need clarification. They're giving it some thought. They just, so they always they're always clarifying. Now, there's a way to deal with that. And I'm not sure if you want us to touch with the way that to deal with that one time, or we'll just save that for.
Yeah,
for
I
a
say
bit
hit the
later.
way we deal with it one time.
Right. So the way that we deal with that is as sales professionals or as entrepreneurs, etc. Once you are, anytime a customer is, let's say they say that, I just need some clarification on X, you use all of those opportunities to engage the customer in a conversation, and then ask them exactly as to what is it that they're not clear about, exactly why. Excuse me. Or actually, after you've given them the response, ask them a couple other questions. So you can always, it gives you the opportunity to revisit how ready are they. So you can come back to them with some confirmation questions as to how soon they are ready to start. So always asking for clarification.
Yeah.
I want to save the others. So
I love it.
because one could tie into something else.
Yep.
So yeah,
So
always
good.
asking for clarification.
So good night, Paula. Hope all is well. She's driving, but she's tuning, so she's listening to us. So
Good night,
I always
Paula.
remember we always talk about in between folks the fact that Lyndon and I are in sync. I have indecisive here as well, right? So here's the thing: when the customer is indecisive, you need to go into closing mode. And one thing I always stress is that you either close the customer. Your closing is not to force the customer to say yes; it's to help the customer make a decision. That's the key thing. It could be yes or no. So if you find that a customer is indecisive and they're asking for that clarification, what I want you to do is add on to what Lyndon is saying and saying, great, if you are saying that X is your concern that you're not clear about, and you've clarified it and they say yes, you need to follow up by saying, does this help you make the decision to buy? You ask for the business there. And if they're still indecisive and bring something else up, they're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Sorry to say it, they're wasting your time. And let's interlude here before we get into the other points and bring up a joke. because this is, I remember Kiva always mentioned this. He always did a skit where, you know, when you walk into a store, like he was going to buy something for his mother, a handbag.
Mhm.
So he walk into the store because the mother says she always want this handbag, right? And he walk in the store. He said, how much is the handbag? Lady say $5,000. Check him, 5,000. All right. He know you're not gonna buy it already, yeah? So then he chose in the same indecisiveness. You have it in pink? No, we have it in pink. You know, if you had it in pink, I was gonna buy it, you know. Or they come and tell you I'm coming back at the end of the day.
Right.
But so pay attention to some of these signs. So here's my first point. And let's go back to, we'll do this from probably a B2B perspective, and depending on certain businesses, you did not pre-qualify them. There was no pre-qualification done.
That's a recommendation to do. That's the customer being that's the customer wasting their time. So that's because we didn't pre-qualify them. You're saying
we didn't pre-qualify them. We immediately started thinking they was going to buy versus just trying to figure it out. And let's put it into a couple of perspectives. If you are in real estate, something you always trusted real estate to people, before you think about buying a house, you have to be pre-qualified.
Yeah.
So you can't just come and you could only qualify for 500,000. That could probably get you land. That won't get you a house. So that is something important to pay attention to. Did you pre-qualify this person to ensure that they have the financial capabilities to purchase your products and service? And I know we have a lot of persons in the automobile industry. That goes like, for example, your budget is a Honda City, but you trying to aim for a Honda CRV, right? And it's two different price points, right? Or your budget is Toyota Corolla and you inside Mercedes-Benz showroom.
Right. So as you're saying that, I'll give another point. Right. Yeah. This one wasn't written down, but this is something that I learned pretty early. When customers all over the place, and this is for either specifically for like the B2C standpoint, because of course B2B might be a little bit different. But let's say a customer comes in and they're looking at your cheapest vehicle or your cheapest item, then they want to go to the more expensive item, then they're paying attention to the one in the middle. You understand? When a customer is all over the place, you also need to find out from them. Yeah, you have to now find out exactly what is it that they're looking for. So I will say another one for me is that when a customer is kind of all over the place with the different products or services that they want from you, or that they're saying that they want from you, because they could also be wasting your time. You have to pre-qualify them and then help them understand what product they need to take. Because you have customers who would like the all the bells and whistles, but they cannot afford all of the bells and whistles. You know the saying, champagne tastes but more be pocket.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So with customers being all over the place, quote unquote, is where you now have to do the work to help guide the customer to where they need to be. And then you make sure that you kind of help them narrow their focus in on that. And if it is that they want to get the bigger item, how do they go about getting to that stage? Because that could mean it's a growing customer for you as well.
Exactly. So here's one I want to bring up, which would be, it all goes, I think, based on B2C sales, but it could be B2B as well. You have bought them as far as you can along in the transaction process, but they hesitant to pay. When time comes to pay, all of a sudden they ghost, they disappear.
Yeah.
That to me is another sign that you need to put a huge red flag on if it is that the client is all of a sudden nowhere to be found anytime you bring a payment, or they always have a delay, or they're always making up an excuse.
Right.
Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag all day long.
All day long.
Folks.
Yeah.
Right? You need to be wary of that. Hold on. I'm seeing you. Let me just make sure I put on my do not disturb. I get too many calls when I was doing stuff live today, boy. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. What other point you have here? I'm going to continue.
Well, I would also say too, I have one from even, okay, let me put it here from the standpoint of an existing customer. When customers do their homework. So customers are supposed to be doing certain things in preparation. Are we lost on IG?
I don't have you on IG.
Am I lost on IG?
You lost on IG.
All right. So let me just request.
Hold on, folks. We just losing and he coming back just now.
Yeah.
All
so right. When customers don't do certain things before, So let's say, for instance, for us to work together, you have to bring a few things for me. So you have some homework. So okay, so IG, my apologies, but yeah, I'm back. So the point that I was making is for my entrepreneurial colleagues, if it is that we have to do some work with a client, but the customer has to prepare some work for us to analyze beforehand, and they are stalling or not doing that, they're wasting your time. You understand? So don't fight up too much with that is an indicator actually as to how serious that customer is towards achieving the
Your
things that they want to
solution and
achieve.
making a change. Can we say
Yeah,
this as well?
straight up.
You might be getting, some people might be offended when we use the word wasting time, but we're being real this year with y'all in sales. It is wasting your time.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
could be spending time with people who have
Doing
their
something
documents,
else.
who decisive, who know exactly what they want to open to change, versus
Mhm.
you having to fight an uphill battle with these persons who just not 100% serious.
Yep.
So that is just honestly my personal opinion of it. Some people might thought, some people might say that's not a fair thing to say about customers, but we in this game for business. We're not in this game for having people who not going and buy. We could put them into a nurturing bucket, but we need to
Mhm.
focus on the ones who want to buy.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Cop Centric, Joel, good night. I think I also saw Chanel Spooner. Thank you so much today for having me at the Nestle event. Admin Wiz, good night. Thank you for tagging others. Let me drop my own. Where is it, boy? This is a B2B tip, right?
Mhm.
You cannot, and actually depends on the type of sale to in B2C and business to business to consumer. You cannot meet the decision maker.
Mm. Yep. When
That's
it's time to
another
make the
one.
decision maker, there's always
Delay or
some
pushback.
delay. Yeah. And I no, but I will take the information and I will give it to them, and when we're ready, we will, that kind of thing. And then you've been working with them for a little while, and then or you've been kind of courting them. I like to say it like that, courting for a
Yep.
little while, and you can never make the decision maker. So no decision has been actually made. So
So
and this is a point too where JB, I would like to think that we need to have certain cutoffs, right? So it even comes back to you consistently asking at every engagement, like with this bit of information, like how soon do you think that we need to start? If it is we can't make the decision makers yet, ask them hard questions. Ask them questions like, so where does the decision where does Mr. X or Mrs. X or whoever the final decision maker is see this in their plans for 2021 or for the rest of the year, or how does this fit into what they had in mind?
yep.
You understand?
And something I was learning just in the oh gosh, just think I was learning it in one of the John Barrows courses I was taking, right? Shaped by
Mm-hmm.
Nax Goodnight, Insurance Girl Goodnight. What he's saying is that you need to put a weighting on important things like that. So you need to put a weight, like in other
Mm-hmm.
words, is meeting a decision making a B2B sales process or a high value ticket item should be a huge weighting. And if it is that the client doesn't want to give you that, that should be a red flag for you to say, whoa, why are they blocking us?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think that's one important thing. And it should also allow you now to gauge and really understand if that person is serious. So you could decide, do you start pushing them as much since you can tell that they're not serious? Or do you actually give them an ultimatum to say, listen, I can't go ahead with this if it is that I can't meet with the decision maker.
Yeah.
So a lot
You
of
have to
this
say
process
yeah.
comes across of being firm with your customer because you don't want to waste your time, but you also want to help the customer at the same time.
Yep.
Right?
That's a strong point.
Yep.
I want to also say too, sometimes customers have either too vague or too unrealistic goals. So they're all out there with the goals in terms of the things that they actually want to achieve, or sometimes they're very vague with the goals. They're not even sure what they want to achieve.
Okay.
They want the world, and then, or sometimes they're not even sure what they want. So in many instances, you may find, yes, the customer is interested in engaging you, but because they're not clear on some specific goals, then that they're going to waste your time a little bit because they're not sure as to where exactly it is that they need to start, or what is it that they want to achieve. Again, you would find customers who want the world, but coming back to, okay, what are some of their specific goals that you're looking for? That's super important.
Very true. So I'm marking that down. I'm putting this here. I'm just marking off all the points that we talked about so far because I actually want to put this into carousel to share after.
Mhm.
Here's another one I think that's important, right? And it's similar to the pre-qualification. Hey, Dominic, good night. It's similar to the pre-qualification. Even the person doesn't match your ideal client profile. So you're trying to just
Right.
sell to anybody. And like that's a first red flag. If you know somebody doesn't match what it is that you sell, that is an immediate disqualifier. Like you should automatically stop the process there
Mhm.
and figure out a way to disqualify them out because they know it's
Yeah.
not going to match and it doesn't bring about the best business opportunities for you. Because remember, you're trying to create a great value with somebody, right? And if it is that
Right.
they don't match that, then they're going to have a bad outcome and they can put a bad name out there, right? I want to
Mhm.
bring up this point because I wrote this down as you were talking about it. And I learned this from Digicel days. You know somebody is not going to change depending on the relationship that they have with the
With
existing
the
provider.
incumbent. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yep.
I always remember there was a company that always kept coming to Digicel to get a quote
Mhm.
for these services. And it happened like twice. They make us do real work. And I remember they always just stayed with TSCT, no matter what.
Mhm.
And we knew we was cheap everything. And we said they're just using us to get better phones, to just get new phones and everything.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I left Digicel, one of the guys who took over was working on it and he was hyped. He's like, yeah, boy, we talked to this one, we talked to him, I was looking at we getting it. And I'm like, you are not going to get that deal. I was like, sorry to burst your bubble, you ain't getting the deal. It's not
Right.
personal, you're just not getting it. And he said, no, we do the work. I was like, listen, count all that 72 hours you spend working on the proposal as wasted time.
Yeah.
And then like a month down the road, he's like, yeah, boy, then I'm going with TSCT. I was like, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time. So the thing is, here's how you circumvent this, and this goes a lot for B2B. Understand their loyalty factor, how loyal they are. Understand how versed they are in that competitor's products or services, right? Listen to how they refer to them. Like if you hear people talk about them by first name and they're calling about personal experiences with these individuals, it could be that they're not going on switch.
Yeah. The bought
And
in.
you have to ask them how you could, and you could put it this way. London, I notice it sounds like you have a really excellent relationship with X. Why it is that you're looking to switch now?
Mm-hmm.
And if you hear them give a wishy-washy statement, red flag. Do you even
Yeah.
bother? Red flag.
You know what I've done in instances like that, because I always ask the question, in any of my discovery sessions I would always ask the question, um, what is it that you're using now? Even when I was doing selling copiers and stuff like that, or if I was someone who was selling, if I met someone who was, when I was selling cars, like what kind of car you're driving now, or what copier is it that you're using now? And then I would always ask, so how are you as it relates to the level of service that you're getting from your provider? And you could tell they really, yeah, you could tell when a customer is extremely bought in and they're loyal to the brand, and there is going to be some hesitation. I'll say it like this: even if you could tell that there is some, how do we say, boy, they're not 100% happy. They've been kind of scarred by by something that the provider did, but they may just be hesitant because this is a whole new relationship for them. Don't sometimes waste your time trying to get them to overly commit. If there's a way, especially from a B2B solution side, for them to stay with their provider and maybe take a smaller scale of the service from you so you can show the value, then you do that. But trying to
Yep.
get them to just make this whole switch, there might be too much at stake, where that is concerned. So you don't want to put too much effort into that and kind of scale that customer, guide that customer into building a smaller, lower valued relationship with you, and you gradually get to show them how you are going to become, a better provider and take care of them more than what they were accustomed to. So don't try to
Agreed.
hard sell that.
Fully agree. No, so I think that's it. So I have that. I have existing partner. Those are my points now. See, right. So for those of you joining us, what we just hinted on is the fact that we have started a brand. We have started the last quarter of the year, the most important quarter, I think, for many companies with regards to their sales, because sometimes majority of their sales are made in this last quarter. But what we really want to focus on for us as sales professionals is to not waste our time dealing with the wrong persons, right? Mark, thanks so much. So you really don't want to waste that time focusing on the wrong individuals.
Yeah.
What you want to really do and spend your time with is the ones who are going to buy, which is why tonight we were talking about the signs that will help you tell when somebody's not going to buy, right? And in some cases, wasting your time. So we went through a whole different list. We talk about the fact that they're indecisive. They don't know what they want. They're all over the place with regards to their requests, with regards to their goals, with regards to the outcomes that they want to achieve. They literally just can't stick a pin anywhere. It's just all over the place. We spoke about the fact that they're not pre-qualified. Depending on the industry, and there's certain pre-qualifications they must go through. Like even if you're in the IT industry, London, you know for a fact that before certain infrastructure and stuff is in place, before certain things are put in place, you need certain infrastructure.
If you don't have those things.
Yeah, I think I'll lose you again on IG.
Sorry, somebody trying to call me. Hold on. Let me just end that call.
Yeah.
Oh, let me do the same thing. Yeah, let me switch that off. Yeah.
And then we mentioned the fact that they might be hesitant to pay. When they talk about money, they could either be always making up an excuse for a discount, or they're always hesitant, or they always ghost you when it is they don't commit to the payment date. Like, Jared, I'm going to pay you Monday come and pass, and there's excuse. Red flag.
Yeah,
right?
Price-related. Sorry, consistent price-related questions are red flags as it relates to if you're wasting your time with the customer or not. But again, too, we have to be. I remember doing a training with a client, and I was showing them how to ask firm questions, and they felt that those questions would put off or throw off the customer. And I had to kind of show them, it wouldn't throw off the customer. You're just asking the customer to give you a definite answer.
Exactly. And if you can't get a definite answer, red flag.
Yeah. You have to be able to give a definite answer, So was there another one I wanted to say here, boy? Sometimes you trust your own vibes, I like to say that we have to trust our vibe based upon the individuals that we're speaking with. But it all comes back down to, for what Jared and I are talking about here, comes with a lot of sales intuition, right? So if you're young in the sales game, you might fall into these traps or these little mistakes easy with customers. However, if it is that you have some experience in the sales game, using your intuition and always kind of judging the vibes of the person, especially the individual that you're talking to, one of the things I would always say is always ask more questions as to who else is involved. There's hardly ever a case where one person alone is involved in a not even a woman buying a handbag is a one-person thing, because more than likely she has to share that with a girlfriend to get an opinion. Just saying. You understand? Hardly ever there's one person involved in a decision. And for me personally, it has helped me to pace my sales transactions and get as much information as possible. So I seldom rush into a transaction. I remember just recently I asked to speak to a whole bunch of end users, and then I submitted my proposal, because what you and I were saying backstage, JB, is that what the clients, the management wanted is very different from what the end users wanted.
Yep. Always different.
So we have to be able to identify all of those things in that regard.
All right. And by the way, as we pause here, I'm going to pull up a couple of comments. Let us know what are some of the signs you have noticed when somebody isn't ready to buy, because that is super, super important.
I would like to, if it's okay, can I respond? Can I just speak
Which
on
one? Syed,
where he says to target goals, you must present value. You don't always have to start presenting value there. To target the goals comes down to really asking the right questions.
Yeah, that's a discovery
from the customer. That's a discovery phase, because a customer has a goal, they have a reality, they have options, and then you could give them the way forward. The way forward is when you submit in the proposal. But if a customer says, well, I want to get to this stage, let's look at it from the standpoint of weight management. The goal is that they want to lose X amount of pounds or get stronger, whatever it is. What's the reality right now? Right? What are you doing right now? That's why people do assessments. Right? And then what are your options in terms of getting there by that particular time? So you don't have to jump into presenting value. That could be sometimes an instance where we try to sell too quickly. But if you do those three things, identify the goals, look at what the reality is with the customer's current state, then start talking about what their options are. And here's the thing, those options also means you. So am I a good option to help you achieve that goal?
Yeah.
You understand? And then if the answer is yes, then what's the way forward with doing that? So yeah, you don't always have to present value at that time.
Fully agree. People like, for me, it still goes into qualifying them to make sure it's a right fit and everything. But I love the trust you got. That was an important thing.
Yeah, trust your gut. Your
Right?
vibes.
You could even add. You could even say trust your data, because if you have data
Yes.
to back it up, it can help you determine. You can look at your past history. But folks, you might think the approach is wrong. But let me tell you, and again, I was mentioning this to Lyndon. Seen my post earlier this week just talking about why your ID client profile is important. You have to be comfortable with telling people no, and have to be comfortable with understanding that you need the right people in your pipeline. Like, that is super, super important. If you don't have the right persons in your pipeline, it's going to be really difficult for you to achieve your commission targets, your goals, everything that you want to get this quarter. So you have to be really, really stringent on that. You honestly have to be. Don't let those opportunities pass. Pay attention to some of these signs. Be comfortable with asking the customer closing questions. Be comfortable with telling them you might not be ready for the products and services that we provide, and you need to have A, B, and C in place first, and then come back to me, and then we could actually move along.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's just it. Debbie! Yes. So yeah, so that's just a short one tonight. I don't have any additional points. I don't know if anybody has points that they want to bring up. Any tips that they notice for people, if it is, somebody's wasting your time, or if they're not ready to buy.
I think what people might be, I think most people would know when they're wasting time with a customer. I think what people may not be familiar, maybe comfortable with doing, is letting that customer go, or what will be the strategy for putting that customer on pause or nurturing that customer until they're ready. Because
agreed,
what we do a lot of the times is follow up.
I want to let this customer go. I'll lose the sale.
Yeah,
Didn't have no sale to begin with.
You
losing
don't have
nothing.
You don't have a sale now.
Right?
Yeah.
You ain't losing nothing. So stop stressing over the things that could be, should be, or might be. Right? So that's just some of the tips for tonight. Right? You ended there, folks. I mean, as usual, if you have any sales questions, let us know. We'll come with some more sales topics just to give you some more additional advice and tips. But as usual, hit us up on the DMs. We love to talk sales. It's the best thing in the world to do. Tomorrow, we're gonna have a fun day. Out on the road tomorrow.
All right, cool.
Survey time.
Nice.
All right. Have a good one, folks. Happy selling. Crush those targets. Crush those quotas. Make 2021 Q4 the best ever.
Yeah. And plan for 2022.
Yep.
All
Have a good one.
Take care, guys. Peace.
Right. Share that to IGTV. Where's my stream?
Was your...